Hello, this is Baron von Richthofen, and this is going to be a kind of mini guide for Janna, but also more general how to play support, and then how to control a game, and like general team map control. So should be pretty exciting. It was an exciting game. As we take a look real quick, these are the masteries or runes I'm going to be running. I'm going to have movement speed for my quints, armor for yellows, magic resist for blues, and armor pen for reds. Now, you can really run any number of runes as a support. Lots of different options. Sometimes I'll run high flat ability or early ability power so that I can, have greater heals or damage or whatnot. Sometimes you'll run a little bit more defensive, maybe get some health. But here I want that movement speed, so I'm really mobile, able to help my team a lot and just kind of move all around the map. The armor pen, because Janna is kind of a harassing kind of support, you don't have the heal, so you want to get that damage in when you can to kind of make up for that heal. So I am going to have that armor pen so I can kind of pop in and out of the brush as a support and attack the enemy, which is definitely going to be very effective. And then the early defensive items, just because most supports are usually pretty squishy early, and if you allow the enemy to kind of get up in your face and deal some damage, then very quickly you're going to be in a poor position. For my masteries, I'm going to run 09 and 21. The 9 once again provides me a little bit more defense. You don't really need the offensive masteries. But then coming down to 21 in the utility tree, it does give me that clairvoyance mastery, which gives you an extra 4 seconds on clairvoyance, as well as reducing the cooldown a little bit. Some cooldown reduction, some more movement speed, general good stuff. Unfortunately, I was disconnected at the beginning of the game, so I did miss the first CV, but as a general rule, it's pretty good to CV the enemy base close to as you spawn, so you get a general idea of what's going on in the game and how they're preparing for the game. And then you'll really want to CV early to try and track the jungler, but then kind of hold on to it for more key decisions. Now, the first key to playing an effective support is trying to maintain brush control and then getting attacks on the enemy carry. And you can attack the enemy support too, and if you can knock them out of lane, then that is effective. However, it's much better to attack the enemy carry. They will be dealing damage to you if you do attack the enemy support, and very quickly they could turn that situation around on you. And it's very important, like I said, to maintain control of that brush. So for a while here, it'll basically just be smooth sailing in the lane. Nothing really that special here. I did start off with a Philo Stone, and you can really start with any number of items. Cloth armor is, you really don't see it a lot, but if you start off cloth armor, then you can buy 2 wards, or you can buy, it's probably better to get cloth armor, 1 ward, and then 2 health pots. And the cloth armor is particularly effective against high attack damage or physical damage lanes, such as if you're laning against Ezreal, or if you've got Taric against you, where he's going to come up and have that armor pen reduction, and then also get you with the stun. And really, the cloth armor, would be for a more defensive lane. I'm going Regrowth Pendant for a fast Philo Stone. Like I said, the gold per 5 items are really key on support. Since you're not going to be farming, it really helps you out a lot. So that fast gold per 5 is going to be nice. And I know that the enemy jungler is Skarner, so I didn't need to have wards out as early as I normally would. It is getting a little bit late here, so I am going to go back to ward. And that's really something you need to recognize, is when are good opportunities to recall. I did see that Skarner was top lane, and our lane was pushing, so I knew it would be a good opportunity to recall, and Cog actually should have recalled as well. Now, because I don't need to be bottom right now, Cog's just going to be there. I recognize there's no need for me to stay bottom lane, so I'm going to come mid, be very aggressive here, and come up and help our Xerath get a kill and kind of control his lane. That's another thing you need to recognize is when to recall, and then also that you don't have to sit in lane the whole time. A lot of times, if the enemy's pushing up with, if I see a large creep wave coming up as the support, then I can just recall and recognize I don't need this golden experience. My carry's going to be safe at this tower, so I can just recall right here and go back to base, even though I'm missing out on the experience, and go back to base to take the opportunity to get wards, get items, or move around the map some as well. So it is close to a time where we are going to want to pressure Dragon. I do come in and try and get the kill, just like any other champion, recognize the opportunities. But unfortunately, we aren't able to pick up those kills. But it is a good time for us to start looking to do Dragon, because Shaco at this point will be able to Dragon very easily. And what determines Dragon is really bot lane. Mid can determine it as well, but Really, if you get a kill bot lane, or you can force the lane out, then it's a good opportunity for Dragon. I am going to get some wards. I do have a pink ward and some other wards, so we will have control. Fortunately, they are going to be able to pick up a kill into Caitlyn here, so really, it's just a perfect opportunity for us to Dragon, and the good ward control will protect us so that we have a free Dragon here. And that free gold is really going to help the team out as we progress. If we didn't get the kill there, though, it would be a good opportunity to, keep your health high when you know that Dragon might be an imminent possibility, and then also try and get the enemy team, get their health low so that they'll have to recall, and forcing someone to recall is just as good as killing them when you're looking to do Dragon. I did mark the timer for when Dragon is, so I do know when it spawns, and I will look to rally my team around there at that moment, which will be really key to furthering our gold advantage. I am going to have to sit here in lane, which isn't really something I want to be doing as a support, but Cog had recalled at an inopportune moment, so I do have to kind of sit here and hold this lane. I will get a little bit of gold, which, whenever you're in the lane by yourself, you do want to do. But I am going to sit bot and hold the lane for a little bit right now because it is more towards the middle of the lane, so I do recognize that Cog will need me. But I do see that Shaco is over at the enemy red setting up, so I want to make sure that I can deter bot lane from going over to pinch him and sandwich him. Skarner is mid, so I do know that Shaco should be generally pretty okay, but Soraka kept on moving over in that direction. I think it was to drop a ward, but I definitely don't want her to go over there and pinch off my jungler, so I am going to move up there to help him out. And, once again, we're just farming our lane. As Janna, you don't have the heals that other support have, so I'm going to be looking to auto-attack the enemy champion, and then also keep Kog'Maw alive. And Skarner, very good jungler, very good ganker, but Janna, with the disables and the movement speed, really has no chance to get in on us. I do want to place another ward here, and we'll likely place one in a second. I actually am going to need to recall, but I saw that there was a large creep wave bottom, so it was a good opportunity for me to come mid to try and get a kill onto Annie. Xerath, actually doing a very effective job, was able to pick up the kill before I was there. But I do need to get bottom fast because Skarner was close, but the main reason I knew I could leave there was the enemy was actually pretty low at that point in time, so I recognized that I could leave and it really wouldn't affect Cog's ability to hold the lane. So I am going to aggressively push, and aggressive pushing is really something that is very important, and if you can push down early towers, it is huge. So we do get the mid tower, which is going to provide us a lot of map control. Unfortunately, my team being a little bit too aggressive here, I was able to get a shield onto Shaco. They were both down to like 50 health, and I could choose to shield one or the other. Didn't really have an option for both. I do need to get a couple more wards. I do have a ward down there to protect Shaco, and because they're pushed up to his tower, I do know that Shaco's pretty safe, and he is kind of having a fight there and is able to successfully take the enemy. But a second ago, you did see that I did tell my team Dragon is up in 20 seconds, not just knowing when Dragon's going to spawn, but then using that information. So I did get Shaco to get down there, and we were able to take Dragon actually just as it spawned, and I do have the next spawn timer, so that once again we can control Dragon. And Dragon in towers, that team gold along with map control is really just huge and really what you want to do. So we haven't really been going for a lot of kills bottom. We've generally, just been farming, which is what we want Cog to do. He just wants to farm safely. But we have been able to successfully control most of the map. And there with a successful gank from mid, so we are going to be able to push down this tower.
The team has destroyed a turret.
Now here, bot was really pushed up, and I do know that everyone is top, so there's not really an issue for Kog'Maw to be ganked. So I knew Cog was going to want to recall anyway, and I knew that I could, kind of leave him alone, so I did want to move around the map some. Once again, you don't need to sit bot lane the entire game, because that's not really the support's job. So I did get an Oracles here. You did see I did have the Philo Stone and the Heart of Gold. Really important to get out those early gold per 5 items, and that's really going to help me out a lot. But then the wards and the oracles is going to allow me to provide further map control, and I really don't want to die with this oracles. But if I can clear out the enemy wards, not allow them to have any ward control, then we will be able to further our advantage in this game. Now top, they are kind of low, and Nasus is in a 2v1 situation, but I know he's strong, so I'm trying to get in here. They are a little bit out of the way, but because I have that Oracles, I could see that they didn't have a ward here, so I'm going to sit and try and see if we can get an ambush on them, maybe if they try and be aggressive still in that 2v1 situation. I know that we already have 2 towers, and if we can force them out of lane here, we'll be able to take another tower. So we are going to try and get some kills. Nasus is taking a lot of tower damage, and I am going to ult Skarner off of him, because Nasus, he wasn't really that low, but he was very close to taking a significant amount of damage very quickly, and Skarner was walking towards Nasus, so it's potential that he could have been ulting Nasus, which would have, you know, picked up the kill and not allowed us to get that tower. So once again, we are able to push down another tower, and just constantly putting pressure on. I will want to buy more wards. I do have that Oracle still, and I am going to be working towards an Aegis. The aura buffs for your team will help you out a lot, and they're really important to get, especially on a support. Here you can see I got my team all to gather up. We were there right as the dragon spawned, and not even enough time for the enemy to defend it. And because of all these gold advantages, it's actually a pretty even kill game. We are a little bit up in kills, but not very much. It's mostly just the gold advantages. So we were able to take the dragon just as it spawned, because I got our top lane to come down. And then we are going to continue pushing very aggressively, because Cog is a very good champion for poking the tower. He does have excellent range, and I'm just really going to make sure that he's not taking any damage. And that's the #1 priority here, is that Cog doesn't take any damage. So I'm going to shield him to give him some extra health. I'm not going to want to spam my abilities, because I want them to be on up-off cooldown when I'm going to need them. They are probably going to be safe top, so I am going to try and go top. Unfortunately, the Annie did flash over the wall very aggressively, so I did go down and lose an Oracles, but the result was that my team got 2 kills, because the enemy was really over-pursuing, and then a 3rd kill due to excellent play by Xerath and Cog. So I did lose my Oracles, which is really something you never want to do. You just don't want to die as a support, or someone with the Oracles, because that's 400 gold lost. But we did get some towers, and we are going to be able to set up around Baron now. We are significantly stronger than the enemy at this point, so I'm going to want to have some more control around Baron with wards. And you see I am clearing out the enemy's ward that they just placed there. I threw off the Whirlwind as a kind of preemptive strike, because you want to make sure that when you're clearing the enemy's wards you're safe, and that when you're placing your own wards you're safe. And you saw a second ago, a lot of times you want to wait for your clairvoyance to be up in order to drop wards, and so you can clairvoyance the brush and then walk in to drop the ward, because you don't want to be walking into a brush that you have no vision of, even if your plan is to drop the ward and be safe there. So we did take the Baron, and now we are going to push mid. And once again, positioning is key as the support. I am going to want to stay near the back and just make sure that my team really isn't taking much damage, which is the role of Janna. We are going to get a couple of kills here, take the enemy's inhibitor, and should push for a pretty easy win as the game progresses. And most of the win came from the fact that we were aggressive with pushing towers early and aggressive with taking these dragons for that early gold advantage. Now Annie is going to flash in on top of Xerath, so you always want to be aware of what the situation is, and just right as she flashed, I throw off my ultimate so she can't get the combo onto Xerath, which probably would have killed him. And here you have a very effective win, so I hope you enjoyed it. That was kind of a mini support guide, as well as how to control a game.